Baphomet, which is back in the day, let me try to explain. They use it for the Templars, the Knights Templars, and this, that, and the third. Well, today, they've like anything else, they've changed it. They've turned everything around. What's old is now new. What's wrong is now right. So this is the same thing. So it's a goat which is transitioned to be both a male and a female, which has a phallus, quote unquote, penis, and breast. One hand goes up to God, one hand goes down to Satan. And this is who they all worship. Every last one of them.
Okay. Now she said, this is who they all worship. Who is she talking about? Excuse me. She's talking about all of these entertainers, rappers, singers, actors, actresses. That's who she's talking about. Now, I don't even know who this lady is. Tokyo Tony. And I don't know who Black China is. Or is it China Black? I do know that they're rappers, right? I think they're rappers. I don't know these modern rappers. I left hip hop for the most part. I left it alone. When I mean left it alone, I stopped following it. I stopped keeping up with the new artists. Stopped listening to the current rap records. I stopped doing that back, I think, around 2000, somewhere around there. More like probably 2004, 2005. Definitely by 2006, 2007, it was a wrap. And I was not keeping up. Like, between 2000 and, say, 2007, I would keep up with certain artists that had started their careers in the 90s and 80s. But I was not keeping up with the artists that were coming out in 2001 to all the way up through 7. But I got to a point where I just stopped listening to rap, period. And I just listened to instrumentals, old rap, and I would be real selective with my rap. Like, there's some PG-13 rap. It's pretty clean and it's pretty safe to listen to, you know. But this is why I left it alone, because I could feel it being infiltrated by foreign energy, foreigners. Period. Hip hop was being taken over by foreigners. People who are not Black Americans. And I was only drawn to hip hop as it existed essentially under the control of Black Americans. That's why early hip hop is so much different from today. It's like night and day. Now, you just heard this, right?
And I've never got sued.
She's talking about this Baphomet that her daughter wanted to get removed, that she had tattooed on her. And later on in this interview, she talks about how her daughter sold her soul. Now, they talk about this. This is all out in the open right now. So basically, since the time I left hip hop alone and the time I came back, started paying attention to it, it's totally different. And this is the differences that I see. The biggest differences is the infiltration of Satanism. Now, Satanism infiltrated into hip hop with NWA. But I was never a fan of NWA. And there was still some legit hip hop being made when NWA was out. It was really a niche. It was not really mainstream music like NWA. And there was a lot of people all across the country really wasn't feeling NWA like that. We all thought the lyrics was cartoonishly ridiculously fake, over exaggerated crime lyrics. And when you listen to it today, you can really tell how it was all an agenda. You can almost feel how somebody wrote those lyrics for a specific agenda. Now, I don't like the way hip hop has been infiltrated. And it has been infiltrated by people who are not Black American. This is what being cultural is about. It's about protecting your culture and preventing others from taking from it, taking it, using it, manipulating it. And you definitely don't want them to do that. You don't want them to manipulate it and then give it back to you. But that's what they have done. The bottom line is, rap, hip hop today, it involves a bunch of open Satanism. A bunch of crazy occultists, Aleister Crowley, and not just Satanism. It comes along with these ridiculous lyrics, these death and destruction lyrics that only gets promoted in hip hop. And it's all because we have let other people infiltrate our culture. We would not have ever reached the point where we were worshiping Baphomet. We as Black Americans, without the influence of outsiders, I'm not pinpointing anybody. I'm not pointing my finger at no specific group. But I know that the whole concept of Baphomet, Satanism, Aleister Crowley came from outside of Black America. You see, now I've spoken against Satanism before. Some people are fans of Satanism and they get offended. Like, oh, stop. Don't speak negatively about Satanists and all this kind of stuff. But what I need y'all to understand is that y'all need to stop expecting other people from other cultures. Stop expecting them to accept beliefs outside of their cultural beliefs. Right? It's mind your business. Don't put any amount of pressure on us to accept foreign beliefs. And it has always been a part of Black American culture to at least believe in God. And to definitely not embrace or worship Satan. That ain't never been a part of our culture. Never. You can't. Man, I wish you would. I wish you could go back just to the 1950s. That's not that long ago. Black America. Talking, with inverted crosses. And I'm not even a Christian. I don't believe Jesus ever existed. But that don't mean that showing inverted crosses gives me pleasure. That don't mean I have to co-sign with disrespecting Christianity and Christians like that. You invert anything that's disrespectful. So let's get into it, man. I want to emphasize this stuff is not a part of our culture, and we let it in. It has tainted Black American culture, destroyed hip hop. Now, hip hop's not destroyed, but it's pretty much tainted it, where it's basically a cursed music genre. Hip hop largely is a cursed music genre. Positive hip hop, that's underground niche stuff. That's local YouTube stuff. You want to get positive messages, which is the whole purpose of music. It's supposed to be uplifting. It's not supposed to promote evil. And that's the problem that I got with Satanism, for the Satanists and others who wonder. We, in my culture, we are against Satan and Satanism because of what it represents. It don't even have to be Satan that represents it. Whoever in your culture represents evil, we don't like. Okay? Because maybe in some other culture they don't have a Satan or a devil, but they have the jinn. Okay? Whatever you identify with evil, because evil is universal. Evil is universal. I can go to any part of the world and publicly execute someone. Everybody there would be fully aware of what they were looking at. Nobody would be scratching their head, wondering what was going on. Okay? And everybody would feel bad about what they were watching. And they're going to wish that what had happened did not happen. Everybody knows what evil is. If I go randomly chop somebody's head off, and then maybe chop somebody else's head off because I thought, the first murder was fun, that's evil. There are far more examples of evil. Let's not play dumb. In my culture, we don't get off on embracing evil. It's really that simple. And if your religion, whatever religion you belong to, is so of high morals, you should understand that. You should be able to respect people's differences. Now, this is not our culture. Like I said, Satanism, for the most part, entered hip-hop through NWA. I just showed Eazy-E, and you clearly see the Satanism imagery. And listen to the lyrics of NWA. You think, was it just a coincidence that along with promoting Satanism, they was promoting kill a nigga and shoot a nigga, this goofy? And really, when you pay attention to it, the lyrics were mad goofy and corny. Singing songs about executing other black people for no reason, just because they looked at them funny. Like, what are you talking about? Get out of here. These people were not doing this stuff in real life. Another reason why we should have looked at it as corny. Told them to beat it. Get out of here with this corny. But see, we were not the ones putting billions of dollars behind NWA. And that's where the infiltration comes from. Satanism, this wasn't Eazy-E's idea. This came from their manager at the time. It came from some rock and roll group. Satanism don't come from Black America. I need people to understand that. We don't got nothing to do with Satanism or the churches, just like we don't got nothing to do with any other religion out there. Most Black Americans are Christian or Muslim, but we got our own type of Christianity. We got our own type of Islam. That's just what it is. That's definitely was shown with the Nation of Islam. They literally produced their own type of Black American spinoff of Islam. Okay, so we do our own thing. Now listen to this.
Subcultures dedicated to a violent form of Satanism spread their hateful material online, but their influence is now being felt in the real world.
There have been too many examples of individuals who've been radicalized by this material. These ideas can directly lead to violence.
In June 2020...
Okay. Now, we've heard of reports of Satanists being accused of certain things. The church nationwide being accused of certain things. Okay, if Satanism was so harmless, then why is it constantly been associated with harm coming upon people?
Sisters Bieber Henry and Nicole Smallman were brutally murdered in a knife attack by a stranger while celebrating Bieber's birthday in a London park.
Today we remember our girls as the wonderful, strong women they were.
Their misogynistic killer, Daniel Hussein, now 19, believed he'd entered a demonic pact in which he'd committed to killing women. He was convicted in July 2021.
Face me, hands on your head, stay where you are. You're under arrest, all right?
Officers who arrested Hussein found a handwritten agreement in his bedroom in which he promised to sacrifice only women in return for money and...
Okay, now this is in relation to Satanism. This is the kind of effect Satanism had on this individual. Now, is this an individual thing? Well, definitely not. There's several reports. But this is what I'm talking about. Satan represents evil. Evil is not good. Evil is bad. So that's why we, in our culture, we reject Satanism. It's not a part of our culture, period. I don't care how many Black Americans you've seen on TV who are Satanists. I don't care what you're talking about. These are a bunch of those. Listen, you know what these are. Let's continue.
And power. In the past 2 years, 7 young men, 6 of them teenagers, have been sentenced for neo-Nazi terrorism offences in which a violent Satanist organisation was a key radicalizer.
That's another thing. The neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, are quite often also Satanists. Okay. Okay. Let's continue.
Daniel Hussein's was not a terrorist case, but he was influenced by material he found online. Hussein had earlier been referred by his school to the counter-extremism programme, PREVENT, owing to his interest in the extreme right wing. But very little has been publicly revealed about how he came to hold his belief in demonic pacts. Concerned by what might still be out there, we've kept investigating.
Now we know about pacts. Oftentimes they lead to people being harmed. And pacts is a part of Satanism. So yeah, there are going to be some people around the world who are going to reject Satanism. I'm like, no, we reject that. We reject that. Okay? And listen, I could sit up and talk about how I reject a lot of things. Like I said, I'm not a Christian, and I wouldn't become a Christian. I grew up in the Baptist church. But I am not a Christian. I don't believe Jesus ever existed. Okay? We've all heard the arguments. But that's not I don't feel motivated because of that. Because of my disbelief that Jesus existed. I don't feel motivated to show open disrespect for any images of Jesus. To invert no cross. See, these people, and this is what they do at the Church of Satan. They project this idea that the Church of Satan is simply a protest about how corrupt Christianity is and sort of a response to Christianity. We'll get to it. We'll let them speak for themselves.
Hussein was active on a forum devoted to certain forms of Satanism and the occult. He joined in March 2018 while he was being assessed by Prevent, telling others he was a psychic vampire. He sought advice on demonic pacts. The forum is run by an American self-styled...
Demonic pacts? What is this? No. This is not a universal thing. Okay? Don't try to push this on all people. And don't think that all people... See, this is why those Sentinel Island people just start killing people who come over there. Because they understand how people are. Look, we know that all you ultimately want to do is brainwash us and control us, so get out of here. Beat it. And this is what I'm saying. This is not a part of our culture. Now, if you're Norwegian, if you're Polish, if you're Scandinavian, if you're African, if you're South American, wherever you're from and you're a Satanist, hey, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. But no, that's not a part of our culture.
Black magician called E.A. Curting. Hussein introduced himself by saying, "I absolutely love E.A. and his work," and had learned his first spell from him. Curting's real name is Matthew Lawrence from Utah.
And that's another thing. All magic is not witchcraft or evil. That's another thing. I've heard a lot of these on content creators talking about, oh, God doesn't want us to use magic. Stop it. Stop it. It's just that some people use magic for the wrong reasons.
He's previously been convicted of drug and weapon possession charges. Curting sells expensive books and courses.
Okay, that's enough. Now, you're going to have to really brace yourself right here. It is hard, it's difficult to find what Satanists truly believe.
And so,
for whatever reason, it's difficult to pinpoint exactly what it is that they believe. But this is the best thing I could find. And it took me a while to find this. This was uploaded on Vice 5 years ago. Got over 5 million views. Okay. And it's pretty short. Let's go.
The foundation of Satanism is built upon the self and carrying out the devil's work. Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
Oh my God, no. I'm sorry. Okay, now listen, that's not a black American thing. Just wanted to point that out.
hi, my name's Zeke Apollyon, and I am the chapter head for the Satanic Temple, London and UK. Welcome.
Yeah, buddy. Okay. All right. I'm just saying, that's your culture. That's fine. That's your culture. But it's at the point now where they force our rappers to be Satanists. How do you escape that? So the only thing I'm left to do is say, hey, we need our own territory. We need our own territory. Now, brace yourself.
I think what attracted me most to Satanism was just, I think, how preposterous a lot of stuff that was coming from people who called themselves Christians.
That does not make sense. Now, I referred to this earlier. How they talk about Satanism. Oh, it's just because we're so offended by Christianity. Oh, it's because Christianity is so preposterous. Again, I'm not a Christian either. I don't believe Jesus ever existed either. But that don't motivate me to say I'm a Satan worshiper. And if I'm a Satanist and I acknowledge Satan, isn't that the same as saying that I believe in God? Isn't that a Christian concept? Satan, devil, that's a Christian concept. So I don't buy this. And this is another pattern with Satanists. They're inconsistent. Or they lie. They contradict a lot.
There is a lot of stuff that was coming from people who called themselves Christians.
Okay, again, if that's the case, why embrace the representative of evil? What's the point in that? What good or benefit is there in doing that? Why embrace the representative of evil. What kind of sense does that make? What kind of sense does that make? That's why this is not a part of Black American culture. In no way that Satanism comes off does it make sense. Okay? And I know I might be arrogant right now. Like, hey, who do you think you are? You're speaking for all Black Americans? I know I'm out of line. I can't do that. But I'll do that right now. And I'll take all the criticism. This is not a part of our culture. Oh, let's go back here. Let's continue.
I think how preposterous a lot of stuff that was coming from people who call themselves Christians. These people are extremists. They're religious extremists, that use Christianity to kind of further their extremism. Some of these people have blood on their hands. And so I figured if they could do horrible things in the name of Jesus, then I could do wonderful things in the name of Satan.
Why in the name of Satan? Why not just do wonderful things? And what wonderful things are you doing in the name of Satan? Are you only doing wonderful things? No, they're not. We know how these people are. They commit sacrifices, man. And as Satanism relates to Black Americans, it infuses our music with death and destruction. That's what it means to us. Okay? Before Satanism, our music didn't have these degenerate messages. After Satanism, they did. Okay, let's continue.
Wonderful things in the name of Satan. It's so liberating.
Why not just do wonderful things? Why in the name of the representative of evil?
It is so liberating. I don't think I've ever felt as in my own skin as I do as a Satanist, because part of it is looking at ugly sides of yourself and being able to sort of reconcile that, and looking at ugly sides of humanity.
What? See, no, what are you talking about? I don't know what he's talking about. Look at ugly sides of yourself. So look at what you would call bad sides of yourself and say, hail Satan because of it. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. How does it lead to Satanism? That makes no sense. This sounds like some just weird personal evil fetish. These are just evil people who just, feel like they found a way to justify their evil feelings. They found an outlet, I would imagine. But no, this ain't no universal thing.
I don't think I've ever felt as in my own skin as I do as a Satanist, because part of it is looking at ugly sides of yourself and being able to sort of reconcile that, and looking at ugly sides of humanity.
Yeah. Without evil, there's no good. Yeah, I know your philosophy. Oh, Satan is necessary, because without evil, there would be no good. So yeah, let's embrace Satan. No. So yeah, let's embrace evil. No. No, it don't work like that. You don't willfully do bad things. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay, but this is all right.
No.
Now, you saw the question. Do you drink blood? Do you drink each other's blood? Now, he said no. It's not what I heard. That is not what I heard, but let's continue.
No. I don't want to catch anything, and I'm pretty sure other people don't either. people get in touch with us and we just have a conversation. You know, a lot of times what people want is community. You know, a lot of people feel like outsiders, and so they come to us because they're looking for people that are accepting.
What? So you just accept whatever baggage comes along with being accepted by people? Doesn't it matter what these people believe or practice or support? It don't matter, huh? Just as long as you're accepted by a group of people. That's deep. That's deep. Ain't that a type of that's not smart. That's not smart. To accept anything, any set of ideals, just so you can be accepted by a group of people without a care about what their ideals are. Okay. All
People that
right.
are accepting. They do not come around anymore. They do not come around anymore. They came over one time when we were having a big ritual, and they must have seen it on my face or something.
And why these people deny, some of them, they say that they don't worship Satan. So why do they say hail Satan? What's with the hail Satan stuff? Oh yes, they do. Why are they so dishonest about it? Well, I guess that's all part of being a Satanist, I guess.
Because I opened the door to come out to get something, and they were walking up the path, and I was just like, no. And they just turned around and left, and I haven't seen them since. We still live in a time when people who are Satanists have to live incognito. But I think in terms of misconceptions about Satanists, I think, you know, people think that we sacrifice babies, that we are engaged in some kind of like, you know, underground sex trafficking. And I mean, I've definitely...
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I could strike that from the record. If I would have known, I would have skipped that part. But some people who've been busted have also been revealed to be a part of your group. Just saying.
I'm with very well, but I've never actually killed one. There's a little girl in the window right there.
See, yeah. See, this is weird. And it hints towards some other weird things, more sinister things. You see. This is beyond weird right here.
Satanism, it's been a philosophy or a way of life for people for a very long time. For me, Satanism is really about not letting myself off the hook, you know, and I believe, for me...
Now he's babbling. And they do this a lot. It don't make sense.
That being a Satanist is about trying to continually advocate for people, especially people who aren't able to advocate for themselves.
Wait, what? What? Why would that necessitate Satan? Just advocate for people. What's with the word salad?
You could definitely go much worse than to use those things as your way to kind of move forward. Every day. In fact, somebody is probably right now asking us to put them in touch with the devil. People ask for riches. They ask if we can allow them access to the Illuminati. Some of the weird...
He mentioned the Illuminati. He said people asked him if they could put him in touch with the Illuminati. Well, it said that the members of the Illuminati are also Satanists. You know, the Masons. How it said that they really respect and admire Lucifer. You see? Oh boy, this is bad stuff. I would have preferred a complete separate black America in, let's say, 1867, and have prevented and blocked all of this out of our culture. Okay? This is just not our thing. And it's bad. It's real bad that this has infiltrated hip hop. Really? Really? You genius. Y'all geniuses. Y'all let this infiltrate hip hop?
Weirdest interactions are people who like send us satanic prayers. People will sometimes ask us to pass on messages to the devil. And I'm like, we're not the devil's answering service. I wish.
What? What? You see the question. I hope you can see it. Is it an S cult? Is the question. Is it an S cult?
I wish.
Okay, so now he's being dishonest. So you can't even take this seriously. Why support evil? Again, see, right now I'm sitting in my apartment, and I'm enjoying a peaceful moment. Nobody's attacking me. I'm not under attack right now. And if somebody attacks me right now, I'm not going to look at that as beneficial. That's evil, and I don't want it to happen. You see, this idea that we need to embrace evil, that does not make sense. That does not make sense to me. That's counterproductive from what it sounds like to me. Okay, what's wrong with what God represents? I may not be a Christian, but I respect that they respect what God is supposed to represent. God is supposed to represent, good, being respectful, peaceful, stuff like that. And let's be honest, that's how we want our day-to-day life to go. Most of us, most of the time, we don't want no problems. We want to get back home in one piece. Most so-called evil, or at least a good portion of it, it's not because the people just want to do evil. It's because they're deprived in some way. In some way, usually. It's not because they just get off on doing bad things. You see? So is evil something that we actively supposed to be bringing into the world like that? Like deliberately? I don't know about that. That don't make sense to me.
Satanism is a love affair with the self. Actually, I think one of the things that the Satanic Temple wants to do is actually sponsor an orgy. We do. Okay. But
this don't help me understand what they believe. I mean, what is it? They just want to accept that they're not perfect. Okay, maybe people are not perfect, but that don't mean that it makes sense now for me to say hail Satan and become a Satanist. Now, it's not just Satanism. It's all that stuff. The Masonry, the Aleister Crowley, all that weird, nasty, spaced out nonsense. Aleister Crowley and his S-magic nonsense. It's a lot of weird stuff. And that's just not a part of our culture. But now, it's basically become a part of our culture. It's become a part of our culture because we have not protected our culture. Basically prostituted it out. I was just looking at No Jumper, and I just recently found out what No Jumper was. Maybe a couple months ago. And the host, that guy Adam, is a full-blown Satanist. And this is one of the faces of hip-hop. Say it ain't so. Wait a minute. Let's go to Adam 22. How is this guy a prominent figure in hip hop? This just doesn't make sense to me. Coming from my era. Maybe I'm just old at this point. Okay, maybe I'm just old at this point. But listen to this. This really stood out to me, this part of the end. And I can't find this interview for some reason.
Adam admits that.
Okay, that's too loud.
Don't be telling nobody about God no more. You feel me? Like, you gotta teach these kids, bro. Start being prayed up. Like, we don't be telling nobody about God no more. You feel me? Like, you gotta stay prayed up. Like, we don't be telling nobody about God no more. You feel me? Like, you gotta teach these kids, bro. Start being prayed up. And God is real, bro. You feel me?
You think I'm sick in the head because I'm an atheist? I don't believe in God?
Damn, that's crazy.
I bet you think it's crazy.
For real?
Like,
Atheist for real?
yeah, almost everybody I feel like I know, my girl, most of my close friends, I feel like almost all of them are atheists.
For real?
We come from
Why
different
are you
worlds.
atheist, though?
I just feel like I've never seen it.
Nah, he's being dishonest. He's not just an atheist. He's a Satanist. He promotes and glorifies Satanism. I don't know why he's there. This happens a lot. They're dishonest a lot.
Any evidence of God? Have any reason to try
He
to...
said there's no evidence of God. Now that don't make sense to me. To say that makes no sense to me. Okay? I'm trying to make sense out of Satanism. I'm trying to find where it makes sense, where it's reasonable. There's no evidence of God.
For real?
We come from
Why
different
are you
worlds.
atheist, though?
I just feel like I've never seen any evidence of God. Have any reason to try to venture a guess. I feel like all the whole...
You know what? Here's what I'll say to a person like that. A person who says there's no evidence of God. I will tell you who your God is. For anybody who says that, I'll tell you exactly who your God is. Your God is death itself. Because some of you don't want to die. But you have to. And I know they'll say, oh, no, that doesn't mean that there's a God. See, these people are only talking about God in the Christian, that come out of the Christian Bible. And, you know, for a lot of people, that's the only type of God they know about. That's the only type of God they have a concept of. It's the one that you see in the Bible, that it's a male, right? It's a male, it's a spirit, usually has a son.
Holy Bibles that people base their religious ideas on is really like, it's just a huge leap of faith that I don't think there's any kind of logic behind.
For real?
Yeah, I grew up going to church all the time and stuff. It just never made any sense.
Some stuff got physical towards you. Like, you got to see it.
You know, I'm willing I'm willing to believe in like atoms and nuclear. It doesn't need to come from anywhere. Evolution, big bang.
What do you mean? It has to be taught. Where do you think it come from?
Nah, you don't need God for morality.
Evolution, big bang. Now, a lot of Satanists co-sign with that too. There was the Darwin theory. Okay, where does all this come from? It's my thing. The atoms. He said he could respect atoms. Okay, where in the world do atoms come from? We didn't make them. I don't know, man. I don't understand the atheist argument that there's no evidence of a God. Where did all of this stuff come from? Where did life itself come? I didn't ask to be here. I did not ask to be here. But I was born just a few decades ago. Why? Is there a purpose? I don't know. Why don't I know? I'm clearly at the mercy of a higher power. A higher power who said, I'm going to be born at this time, and I'm going to at least live to be as old as I currently am. I didn't make the choice. I'd be a millionaire if I could make a choice. Don't tell me ain't no sign of a higher power. Like, where did the planets and stuff come from? Why do we have to exist on a planet? Why can't it be something else? And why a planet of all things? A sphere? Basically a ball floating in space? What? You know, some stuff don't make sense to me. Okay? And to me, that's a sign of a higher power. Now, obviously, a lot of other people don't look at it that way.
You know, I'm willing
You one
to
of those?
I'm willing to believe in like atoms and nuclear. It doesn't need to come from anywhere. Evolution, Big Bang.
What do you mean? It has to be taught. Where do you think it come from?
Nah, you don't need God for morality. Right. Wrong.
Where? No. It's called having faith. Faith is what? Go ahead.
Faith is foolish. It's faith is believing in something
have
without
no
having
hope.
any reason to believe it.
That's having
But just
no
because
hope.
you want to have hope doesn't mean hope that you need to actually that it actually.
Yeah, who is this guy? This guy right here. He can't really debate Adam 22 because he's a Christian, which is why I left Christianity. It usually limits your debating skills. Now there are some Christians who probably could have lit Adam up real good. Maybe lit him up with the same things I pointed out, but usually they sound like this guy. Oh, it's a faith and all this kind of stuff. Man, listen, and stuff like black holes and stuff like that, man, like, what are you talking about? These are very creepy, weird entities that had to come from something. And I don't care if that something is nothing. Y'all saying that it's nothing, it's a big bang or some atom formed somewhere at some point in time where that atom is God. You see? Whatever gave birth to me and made me able to think. See, the fact that I can have this discussion, that I can even debate this or ask these questions, I think proves that there is a higher power. There's a lot more to understand. And why don't we understand everything that there is to know about ourselves and about history? Yeah, I don't buy this idea that there's no sign of a higher power. And I don't believe that we would have ever accepted this. The only reason Black Americans accepted concepts like this is for money. Is to get that record deal. Willing to sell their souls for money. I couldn't do it. I personally don't understand how people worship money like that. I'm willing to get it from the mud. Just give me a job. I'll work. I trust my work ethic. Give me a job, I'll move up and find my groove and I'll be good. But pushing this nonsense, listen, I understand certain types of public figures who talk about hip hop as just rappers talking about what go on in their hood, in their community. I never bought that. Always knew what it was. They was glorifying the mentality of Black American serial killers. Because the literal serial killers, or the closest thing to it in the Black community, was the gangsters. Is the closest thing to it. And you could see hip hop starting to exclusively only promote gangster rap, which was said to have been created by the CIA for the purpose of filling the prison system. You see, get Black Americans to sing praises about crime and other things that'll get them arrested. And when they start to do those things, which they will, many of them will, You can't sing those types. You can't sing any lyrics and not be influenced by them eventually. See, so I don't like these kinds of little science projects that have been carried out on us. Don't appreciate it at all. And I would rather have a black American state and have everybody leave us alone. Leave us alone. We take everything, you're not going to be in control of hip hop no more, infusing it with your beliefs. That's the true crime. The refusal to accept other people's beliefs. Say the Roman state wrote the New Testament and added it to the Torah. Okay. Cannot have Satanism without. Yeah, Satanism seemed like a response from the things that I've read. It's a response to Christianity, which alone is like, okay. What if you don't believe in Christianity? Satanists seem to believe in Christianity and Christians. Like I said, that's where they get their concept of Satan from. But we all have heard about the things that they're involved in, or many of them. People end up getting hurt. Innocent people, family, relatives, all because their relative wants to be a rapper. That lady I just showed on the screen, China, what was it, Tory Black? What was that lady's name? Black China?
Hey, guys.
No, that was Tony. She was crying about how she thought her daughter was going to sacrifice her. Yeah. I think it was on this interview. She broke down crying about how she thought her daughter was going to sacrifice. And this ain't the first time we've heard this. So that's not a good thing. That's one negative thing that came along with Satanism. And these people worship Baphomet. Crazy, crazy stuff. So yeah, in a perfect world, I wouldn't know nothing about this. The Viking religion, Celtic religions for Satanism were just as negative. Yeah, I think it started during the Middle Ages with the Knights Templar. During the Middle Ages with the Knights Templar, because they are said to have worshipped Baphomet. Right? And look, I don't want to attack anybody's beliefs here and get canceled. All I'm saying is I'm from a different culture, and that's not a part of our culture. That is all for this live stream.